Good afternoon, everyone. It's so wonderful to see all these faces that we waving in the back. This is one of our favorite times a year to bring everybody together and share the impact you've had on healthcare across the island. So we're welcoming over 200 guests today, which is a sellout. So we're just thrilled to have that many people engaged and here with us today. You're all such a big part of the work that we do at the foundation, and we're just so excited when we get to share that with you. So we have just a real quick housekeeping item. We have the washrooms that are just around the corner there in the hallway, and then if you head straight out the door where you can either go through that way or straight out beside the gift shop is the exit to the parking lots. So I'd like to begin today with a territory acknowledgement. The NRGH hospital serves approximately 80% of the Indigenous community across Vancouver Island. Indigenous people often live in remote communities and experience health barriers with unique health needs and considerations. As we gather here today, we wish to recognize that we are meeting on the traditional and ancestral territories of the Qualicum and Snainanis First Nations. We express our gratitude for the privilege to live, work, and connect on their lands. So today's event is really to share the impact that you've had. We're going to talk about some of the amazing work that's happened since we met last year this time. We're going to cover impact, accountability, really share with you the work that we've been doing together as a community to strengthen healthcare in our region. And I also want to take a moment before we dive into our packed agenda to just say thank you to our team at the foundation. This is one of their favorite days, is to be with you today. They worked very hard and put in a lot of hours to make sure that we're sharing with all of you your impact. So I hope that you enjoy and get a chance to socialize or talk to the team throughout the event, because they are really grateful to put this on for all of you. I also want to take a moment, and like I said, we have community partners here. We have stakeholders that we sit at roundtables with. We have donors. We have many different people that we work with on an annual basis to do the work that we do. But we also have some very special guests. We have Susie Binden with us today. Susie is the Director of Tertiary Clinical Operations, Perioperative, Ambulatory Care Clinics, and Medical Device Recovery at NRGH. That's a long name. It's like a ruler with a magnet on it. That's right. Susie says, talk to her boss. I don't know who that is. And we also have, I'm not sure if they are here yet, but we have the privilege of sitting with Todd and Jocelyn Maffin. Todd is the founder of Nanaimo Infusion, and he is a huge champion of healthcare and Nanaimo, and his spirit just fills the room whenever he's there. So we hope to celebrate with them when they arrive shortly. We also have some special guests, the Nanaimo Heart Sisters. We have 6 Heart Sisters here today with Diane Ship-Clark and friends. If you want to give a wave, Diane. Welcome. So this is our amazing lineup. This is the good stuff. So we will hear from Barney Ellis Perry, our CEO, Rebecca McGregor, Damien Lane, and our board chair, Tony Harris. So I'm going to bring up our amazing CEO. Barney's been with us for about 4 years now, and I'm sure you can see and witness the energy that Barney brings. He's going to kick me off the stage any minute, but anyway, he's amazing. Welcome, Barney.
Pretty awesome to see you up here. So like, oh, I was facing forward, now it's a little terrifying. So maybe I'm failing on clicker 101 too. There we go. Yeah, that's me. 3 years ago, I stood before you and I asked you to join us on a journey. It was a journey of our new strategic plan. And it'd been a while since the foundation had a strategic plan, and the board had put a lot of work into it, and the team had put a lot of work into it. The concept was, if we could join together, if we can give you the opportunities to give to areas that you are passionate about, you will do that. Because prior to that, we were pretty much asking you to support one big project after another, which was amazing, and everyone did. But when I was going through people's records when I started, I'd see people giving for 10, 20, 30 years sometimes. But most often to that which they were asked for, but we didn't ask you what you were passionate about. And so we did that, and we have 6 areas of care, or 6 areas of focus that we've been focusing on. And we believe this is what's really helped us make the jump that we wanted to make. We wanted to double our fundraising in 3 years. We wanted to do that because we wanted to give the signal to Island Health, the signal to the Ministry of Health, the signal to the government that this community is willing to lean in and support the fundraising for a patient tower when that time comes. So we wanted to double our fundraising in 3 years. And unbelievably, we've quadrupled.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Because it's because of all of you, and you've joined us on this journey, and that has been absolutely phenomenal. Some highlights of the journey are seen here. The naming of the critical care building, the Windsor Plywood Foundation Critical Care Building, is the largest gift ever received in Central Vancouver Island. Totally phenomenal. Complete funding of the new senior-friendly emergency that Rebecca's going to tell you a bit more about today. And, of course, the whole critical care building, $10.5 million. And the list goes on and on and on, and it adds up. And that's phenomenal from a bottom line dollar perspective. That's great. But what are some of the other impacts of it? And there are many. One of those impacts is something, it's just like a quick hallway conversation. Kelly Cox is the medical director for the hospital and the region. She works very closely with Damien, who you'll hear from later. And Kelly just stopped me and we're both flying through the hallway one day. And she said, I just got to tell you, I've been here a number of years and there's a vibe shift. She said, people used to come up to me and complain and be grumpy about stuff and, always there's a problem. Now people are coming up and saying, what if? Do you think we could do that? Do you think we could do this? And it's a whole vibe shift. And I think when you can do that for an institution like our hospital, that is putting us on the right path to go and be creative and be innovative and to do really great things in our community. So I think that's sort of how it really sort of rolls down, and how it becomes real for me is when you feel that. Because every department in the hospital, almost without exception, has been impacted by your generosity. And that's what's really neat. Even in some of the dark corners like pathology, which was when I first went there, it was sort of like the land of lost toys. It was a little scary. They all got new microscopes last year thanks to a major donation. They now have some of the state-of-the-art equipment that they need in order to provide the best diagnoses for the patients in our hospital. And that's everywhere through the hospital. So that's because of you guys. And we're going to talk more about that. Something that I think is really important for us to talk about is, okay, you've raised, last year, $17 million overall. That's great. What did it cost you to do it? And I want to be really transparent about that. We have board policy that our board policy is we can spend up to 27% of total revenue. So that's our cash gifts and our pledges and expectancies when they're documented, and 40% of realized of cash revenue. So that's our board policy. For FY26, firstly, our expenses were $2.8 million, and we came in 3.7% below budget. We're very happy with that because the last 3 years we've been investing heavily in technology, in staff, in offices, all that stuff. And so on top of doing our fundraising costs, we've also been investing in our future, and it's paying off. But we came in below budget. Our administrative costs overall for total revenue, which is again cash and what we call expectancies, is 16.5%. We're very pleased with that. Our administrative costs represents 24% of realized revenue. So against the cash gifts, which is just around 12 million, is 24%. So we feel we're very pleased with that, and it's very much in line with our peers in other hospital foundations in BC. So that's the good news. Now, when we talk about expectancies, we talk about people making a pledge for a future project, such as the cath lab. We have several multi-million-dollar pledges for that.
when people make a gift in their will or a future gift, that's really important because we want to work with you. We want to make sure that your future desires are aligned with your values, are aligned with what you want to see in your community. We want to make that happen. I mean, so we have instances like this past year where the lawyer called and, you know, a person had passed. They had made one gift they made one gift in 2014, but in 2013 they changed the will and left everything to the hospital foundation. There was no communication. We didn't know what Mrs. Harris wanted. She passes at 93, leaves everything, and it's just like for greatest need, which, you know, is great because it gives you flexibility. But I want to know what she cared about. What was she passionate about? We are taking that, it's a total of $2.5 million, and we are turning that into a very powerful tool to help us recruit talent to our community. We're using the interest on that money to provide stipends to doctors coming to check out Nanaimo. We just had a cardiologist and a neurologist come with their family. We're using that to develop what we call a red carpet program that several members of our board are very involved with, to just literally roll out the red carpet and make people fall in love with Nanaimo. But we also want to leverage that capital eventually into a potential major workforce housing program for healthcare workers to help us recruit and get the best residents, people training, doctors wanting to come to our community, but also to support the hospital workers at NRGH and in our community. So we can do great things with it. We convert capital. We can do fantastic things, but we want to know what you care about. So that's why we talk about this a lot. So last year, this thing's crazy. Last year, many of you were here when we launched our In My Nature campaign. The concept of this is to get us prepared for the eventual patient tower. And this is to fundraise and support tertiary care programs for the key areas that this community needs and our hospital leadership says they need. So that's internal medicine, cardiology, neurology, and GI. So we're doing some pretty cool stuff in that area. And this is also sending a really strong message to Island Health and to the government. This community is behind this. And it just so happens, thanks to the work and the support that people see in our community and the Fair Care Alliance, and I shout out Donna Hayes at the back. She deserves, I think, a standing ovation for leading the Fair Care Alliance. We have raised this issue so that now we are the only community in British Columbia, once again, the only community in British Columbia to receive approval for concept planning. So we're proceeding with concept planning for the cath lab and the patient tower, and Damien told us today that that started on June 10th. And the foundation will have a seat at that table. So that's a really big deal. So we're building, we're supporting through this campaign the infrastructure to do that. It's a $25 million campaign. We're making really good progress with it. And we're investing now in building that. So we've been hiring medical consultants to help develop programs such as the seniors emergency that you're going to hear, about, and you're going to hear a little bit more about our plans on today. But we're providing expertise to our medical leaders to say, hey, if you got a really great idea, let's do that. Let's help you create that idea and bring it forward. One of the ideas that we're working on, it's not totally official, but is to create an incubator space for new doctors coming to our community in these priority tertiary area programs. So to give them the support and say the community really wants you here. We've also used these funds to pay for the concept planning for the cath lab, and we've done a lot of pre-work on that at the request of Island Health. So we're very excited about the progress we've made, and just fasten your seatbelts because there's more to come. This is a comparison of the fiscal years for the last 4 years. So you see the increase. So the big blue bar is the cash raised, but you see the yellow bar going up, and these are new bequests and new commitments made by people, and you can see a big jump in that over our last couple of years. So again, thank you to everyone in the room. And this one is of our donors. So our donor base is going up and up and up. Last year, we're up 18%. We have 18% more donors this year than we had last year. And a lot of that is because of a lot of you sharing this with your neighbor, bringing friends to events like this. And like there was a gentleman I heard about, I never met him and I want to. Last year, during Christmas, he went door to door in his community, encouraging his neighbors to give to the Seniors Emergency Project. I thought that was just so cool, like on his own initiative. We didn't know he was doing it. Like, that's so awesome. So now I'd like to quickly take you through the 6 areas of focus that the foundation has and the money that have come in over the last, in FY26. So we ended at, March 31st. So in critical care, $2.2 basically $2.2 million. A lot of that was towards the Windsor Plywood critical care building and the finishing of the HAU, which opened, and Rebecca's going to give you a whole update on that. There is also a lot of critical care equipment that has gone into other parts of the hospital into support in various areas, such as crash carts in the cardiac unit and in ER and other places. And Susie here, Susie and I talk a lot because she's always like, but I need this. And you guys make it happen. And of course, the Seniors Friendly Emergency is included in that, and Rebecca is going to tell you more about that. Community and Family Care is $2.4 million. We've been doing a lot of stuff, and Karen on our team is this brilliant grant. I think she's a grant whisperer, not a grant writer. She's secured a $300,000 grant from Bank of Montreal to support women who need to come to the hospital before the birth of their child, and that is something that is not supported. And she works with a variety of cares and a bunch of support for mothers and their families coming to Nanaimo, having to stay before or after the birth of their child. A whole bunch of refurbishment for the maternity unit, which has hit its 20-year celebration, and that means it's been needing a whole bunch of more equipment. Also in the community area, we've been starting to fundraise for a seniors outpatient clinic. So this is a wound care and a clinic if you need an IV drip or an infusion, things like that. You don't have to come into the hospital, so we hope to open this next year. We've been doing a lot more with Karen's leadership for the long-term care homes. So they just had a terrific garden day where they built beautiful new gardens at Trillium Lodge. We've done all new furniture at Trillium Lodge and new wheelchairs, and also for the Dufferin, we were able to get a fabulous new bus to let help our folks get out into the community. So really great stuff happening there. Mental health. This is an area we're going to be leaning into more in the year ahead. We are going to be fundraising for the Parksville Treatment Center. We started fundraising for this last November. It's a heavy lift. It's $1.2 million, and that's an issue not everybody wants to talk about. It's a abstinence-based rehab center in Parksville. It'll be one of the first on the island, one of the first in BC. And that's a really big, important initiative. It's under construction right now. We hope to have that open in the fall. We have a self-care cafe for hospital workers and other folks. We also support the Clearview Detox Center in South Nanaimo. And we even had a wonderful grant. Again, Karen got a grant to support caregivers. So folks who are helping their loved one to give them respite and give them support. As we build towards our goal of a cath lab, we're continually investing in cardiac equipment. So there's been a whole bunch of new equipment in the hospital and also at the Oceanside Health Center. So we have new monitors that have taken a long time to come, but they will be operational hopefully by the middle of next month, and a stress test system and some other. We also provide a lot of funds for training for our staff, for our healthcare folks. Under heart and stroke as well. As I mentioned, we're approved for the concept planning, so that project has started. We have done a lot of work with consultants on what the cath lab format should be. So we're sort of supporting Island Health and trying to expedite this process. But we're also under the auspices of Fair Care in Ottawa. Dawn and I, they announced a $5 billion fund for healthcare infrastructure in December, and Dawn is like, honey, we're going to Ottawa. I'm like, it's minus 26, Donna. Minus 26. So we went to Ottawa in minus 26. That was a good time. But we are knocking at the door. We are ahead of the curve. We have been there early to say we want $50 million from this $5 billion fund in Ottawa to build what we were calling the Nanaimo Cardiovascular Intervention Center. It's big, it's audacious. We have support from Island Health in this. Damien here has been like, you're doing what? Like, we're going to Ottawa, Damien. It's going to be great. Trust us. And we're making great progress. So we have a lot of work to do. But yeah, money has already flowed out of this fund into Quebec. And I was sending Dawn a press clipping today on CBC because our premier met with the Prime Minister, and they talked about starting to access some of this money. So we will be in there early. Under innovation, which is, I'm going the wrong way. God, I need a license to operate this thing. So innovation, just under $1 million. So again, new surgical equipment that's sort of a bit more edgy. I mentioned the pathology microscopes. We have like big one with a digital camera, so pathologists can work remotely, but also new microscopes, 10 of them throughout the whole unit. And then, as I mentioned, we're investing in consultants to help the healthcare leaders come up with the new programs they want to develop. So we're also working with Rebecca on this concept, with Kelly, Rebecca on one of the seniors emergency, but Kelly Cox on the idea of the tertiary incubator for new specialists we're trying to recruit. We also fund some research programs under Island Health in and around dementia with the Comox Center, the new dementia center in Comox, which has been really, really phenomenal. There we go. This thing is just a nightmare. Other under innovation, we've been working with a lot of community partners. So you may have heard of the Mid-Island Health Alliance. We've been working with them, and we will be opening the Primrose Clinic. It's a $1.2 million new clinic, and one of the founding donors of that are here today, and we thank them for that. That'll open on October 27th, I just learned today. So very excited about that. We've also helped fund, again, bringing money to build another community primary care clinic in Oceanside at the Oceanside Health Center that opened 2 weeks ago. That was $600,000. So lots going on there. Also under there was the SPEC CT campaign that so many of you supported, and that's phenomenal. It's under construction right now. There is a slide on it. There it is, SPEC CT. So $2.9 million, that was insane. That is under construction, and we hope to have that open in the fall, and that's going really well. So we're excited about that. And then cancer care. It's a big area as we focus to support NRGH to be the host hospital for the exciting new Nanaimo Cancer Center. Such a great initiative. There was a $1 million gift made to fund cancer-related surgical equipment throughout NRGH. Again, Susie was very happy with that. There's been a lot going on there, and that is getting us prepared to do more cancer surgeries to support patients who will be here for the Cancer Center coming from all across Central and North Vancouver Island. We've also been engaged with Carly's House, facilitating that project. Again, that's a place for people to stay if they're coming from away, shall we say, to seek cancer care in Nanaimo, and we hope to have that open in later this year. Oceanside, we're doing a lot more there. Jennifer on our team spends a lot of time in Oceanside and working with donors there. Again, I mentioned the primary care expansion at Oceanside. So it was new for Island Health. They had some doctors who were doing locums from Quebec. They said, we really like it here. We'd like to practice here, but we don't want to open our own clinic. And so they moved some desks around initially and accommodated those doctors. They have now attracted more doctors. So we were in a big investment, and we had a large bequest enabled us to support that project. And that clinic open. It'll officially open. You'll see it in the papers in hopefully a month or two. So that's a space for 6 primary care doctors at the Oceanside Health Center. Lots of new equipment there, all new vital sign monitors, 32 of them throughout the whole building. And we've also been doing quite a bit to support the folks who work out of Oceanside, as well as more staff training and other, as mentioned, the enhancements at the Trillium Lodge. So lots going on there. And that's the big focus for all the projects that have been philanthropically supported. Just quickly, we have our 2 social enterprises, Code Brew. So if hopefully you never have to come to the hospital, but if you're in the hospital, we have Code Brew. Did over $1 million last year. Clinton and his team are here, or Clinton's here, who runs that and do an incredible job. We now have a scholarship program for students. There's over 500 customers a day going through Code Brew. It's insane. If you're looking for a fun volunteer experience, we have a lot of folks volunteering there, and you will be kept very busy. You will not be bored. Another is our Lifeline. We have new offices on Barons Road, much more accessible, easier parking, and a lot cheaper. It's a lot smaller space because we no longer have a call center. We now have the new smartwatch, and Chelsea and her team are here. Chelsea would love to talk to you about that. Again, it is a great volunteer opportunity. We have Ron Commander here, who is an installer, which we always appreciate. And there's a whole crew of people who install. If you ever want to do that, you get to see inside people's homes. It's really fun. And then also you can call, we have callers who call people and make sure that they're doing okay every day. The last area is, again, non-philanthropic, but we do a lot in our team to support the healthcare workers at all sites. Throughout the year, there's popcorn days every 2 weeks. We do snack breaks at the Oceanside. We'll do stuff for Nurses Week and Porters Week and all this stuff. But the peak of it is Staff Appreciation Day, which was on Tuesday. And there was meals served to over 1,700 of the day. That's only the day shift. There's 3,500 employees at NRGH. So 1,700 people went through. Clinton has built this into a 3-ring circus. It's totally bonkers. Mike from our board was there helping, and it's quite wild. And then that night, there's items are taken out to all the shift workers, and then today was going out to all the home support workers and all the care workers who come out of Oceanside. The Oceanside Health Center. As over 4,000 people were supported that way. So that's a big lift from our team as well. So that's my blah, 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 blah. So if you're still awake, I would like to bring Janice back, who will introduce a much more interesting speaker. And here you go. Good luck with this. Oh, your notes. Oh, wow. There you go, Janice.
Yes. Thank you, Barney. See what I mean about energy? We get a lot done. But that's all because of the people in this room. So thank you so much. It's so fun to get to share that. One of the other things about today is we actually pull people out of their roles to come and support us, and that means so much to this room that you can be here today to talk about these things. We see how busy you are every day, and it just is so appreciative that you're giving your time to share with us. Our next speaker is Rebecca McGregor. She is the Director of Clinical Operations and Specialty Services at NRGH. And what I'm excited about Rebecca's speech today is she's going to highlight some of the things that you made happen for this community for Central Island in the new critical care building. That was really our kickoff point and our milestone as an organization, and I think as a community, to say we can do this, we can do big things together, we can make a difference, going from the worst rated ICU in Canada to a state-of-the-art space is just amazing, and Rebecca's going to come up and share about that right now.
I don't know if I'm more nervous to speak in front of people or to try and use the clicker. It seems like it hasn't gone well so far for everyone today. So first of all, thank you so much for having me today. It's an absolute pleasure to come and see so many familiar faces, and I've really enjoyed the time that I've been able to spend with everyone over the past few years in my role at NRGH. When I was preparing for today and kind of reflecting on where we've come to and where we started, what really hit me is that 1 year ago was when I first came to you to try and share my vision of what I wanted care to look like at Nanaimo Hospital. And I feel like I have to pinch myself a little bit that we are there. We are well on our way there. And that this really feels like the start of something phenomenal for Nanaimo and for Centre Vancouver Island. So before we spoke last year, we were just in the final pieces of the new high acuity unit build at the hospital. And at that point, I learned more about construction than I ever wanted to know, and more than my husband ever wanted me to know. And since that time, since opening in the fall of 2025, we have seen over 700 patients within the high acuity unit. So within the first 9 months, we served 439 patients, which is phenomenal. To go from not having a space in which to see those people to knowing that there were hundreds of people who needed that care, and now we have the space, the staff, and the services to do what we need to do and to really do what we do best here at Nanaimo. We have been fortunate to recruit staff from across the United States and from as far away as Ireland and Iran. We have an amazing amount of people who have seen our services, have seen our building, have met potential coworkers and thought, this is where I want to build a life. And a big part of that is the fact that they are able to provide the care that they want to provide. Since the opening of the ICU, which was really the first stepping stone in the creation of a critical care program for Centre Vancouver Island, we have served over 2,400 patients. And I will say with all honesty that the reason Center Island is doing as well as it is because of this resource. When West Coast General Hospital faced their challenges over the last year, NRGH is the site that was able to stand up, put our hand up and say, we not only have space, we have the teams, we have the people, and we have the resources to provide care to patients from this entire island. We are keeping people closer to home for the care that they need. We are supporting their families and their loved ones in ways which we could not have dreamed of years ago. And so for that, I just, like I said, I get chills thinking of the impact that you have had on the lives of so many people across this entire island. And the next piece, which I am incredibly, I get a little emotional talking about it because this is something that, again, when I came to Barney with an idea years ago, I could not have imagined the potential for what it has grown into. The sheer joy and appreciation for meeting members of this community who care deeply about the care that their neighbors receive, the care that their loved ones receive. It speaks to me on a level that is hard to put words to. And I'm so pleased to share that, again, much like learning about construction with the HAU, we are well into that space for the emergency department as well. So we're well into meetings with architects in the designing stages. We have a facility design and construction team that is solely dedicated to the work that we are doing. The interest in staff has been so great that we've been able to run a second cohort of specialty geriatric emergency training for our nurses. And already we are seeing growth and passion and change for our patients and for our clients. We have seen increased and improved rates of detection of delirium for our patients. And delirium, for those of you who may not know, but it is a medical emergency that over the past years has never been treated as such. And now we have the knowledge and the training to identify it, to take steps to prevent it, and to really impact patient outcome on a far, far greater scale. We continue to try new initiatives. We have physicians, new and old, who are joining into quality improvement work to develop things like fractured hip pathways so that we are ensuring we are providing care that is at the highest standard, following the most current best practice for every patient who comes through the doors of our ED. And so I stand before you not only as a director of the hospital, but as a citizen of Nanaimo. This is the town that I grew up in. This is the town that I'm raising my family in. My parents access this hospital. My family members do. And I have never felt such hope and such confidence that the healthcare system that you are helping us to build and you are driving forward in Nanaimo is the one that we all need and we all deserve. So thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me today, and I'll pass it off to Jim.
Thank you so much, Rebecca. So our next speaker is Damien Lang. Damien is the Executive Director and of Clinical Service Delivery at NRGH. If you're ever looking for Damien at about 3 o'clock, he's in Barney's office with cookies. Guaranteed. Damien, come on up.
All right, let's see if it's user or system error, Barney. User.
I'm smashing that when we're done.
All right. All right. I just want to soak this in for a minute. Because like you, Barney, I was staring forward, admiring your shoes, first of all. But I had no idea that the room was full and overfull. And what I dislike about this program is that they position me after you, both of you. And so Tony, the good news is, I'm going to lower the bar a bit for you, and you're just going to step right over it. Okay? All right. Barney and Rebecca have shared some of the statistics that I'm going to share with you, so I'll gloss over some of them. But a year in the life at NRGH, the local hospital, and some of these statistics you have heard, some of them I may have shared last June when I was with you on this stage, and the fact of the matter is we've got a 364-bed hospital that is not meeting the needs of our growing population. And so on any given day, we have about 425 patients in said hospital, and about 180 patients that are coming through our emergency department, 40 of which get admitted to the hospital. We're doing 55 surgeries a day, 15 of those spend the night. We're doing, 3 babies are born a day. That's the good news. That's exciting. We provide lots of cancer care treatments. Barney's mentioned a bit about that. We do about anywhere between 36 to 50 colonoscopies or endoscopies. We all know what those are, yeah? Okay, yeah. Nearly 100 CAT scans, MRIs into the double digits, and on we go. And so amidst the data and the statistics, we know that we have a ton of work to do around increasing our services to provide more comprehensive quality care for our region for the next 50 years. And so I'll loop back to that in just a minute when I talk about the concept plan and some of our activity happening with our partners in the region and provincially. 1963, as most of us know, is when NRGH was built. It is the oldest hospital on the island. We continue to have growing wait lists, for the most part, growing wait lists, growing presentations to our emergency departments, people wanting to get into the walls of NRGH for a variety of reasons. I talked to you about hospital capacity. We are the busiest, we NRGH are the busiest admitting hospital on the island. That's a new statistic. So we have surpassed the Royal Jubilee Hospital, which is our biggest 550-bed hospital in Victoria, now the busiest admitting hospital on Vancouver Island. Luckily, we discharge the most, right? They have to balance out, but the busiest admitting hospital on the island. We know, and I think I talked about this last year when I was with you, the hospital has to stop being the backstop for all of our system problems, and it currently functions as such. And that's not to throw anybody under the bus, that's just how our national healthcare system works, unfortunately. So we know, and I'm not going to talk much about it today, but we know we need long-term care beds. Lanceville, excavation starts mid-July, so you'll see that for those folks who live in the area. We need behavioral beds, we need substance use beds, we need more community healthcare workers. We need to push out into our community to provide care away from the hospital. So that's our systems work, and that's some of the advocacy that we have to do together with our provincial and federal partners. Some big wins. It's not all doom and gloom. Some big wins. Rebecca talked about the ICU and the HAU. You do not want to land in one of those beds. If you do, now there's no report out yet, but if you do land in one of those beds, you will land in one of the best intensive care beds in this country now, thanks to donors like you. We've just advanced formally our case for robotic surgery at the site. So this will be about a $5 million project to bring innovation, technology, and quality care advancements to multiple surgical sectors at the hospital here. So more to come on that as we get formal around that multi-year plan. Interesting stat, and Susie's staring at me now, so hopefully I get this right. 3 years ago, I think, all of our orthopedic surgeries, well, I shouldn't say all, 92% of our orthopedic surgeries required at least one overnight stay, or one night of overnight stay. So 8% were surgical daycares, as we call them, out the same day. And that's what you want. You want to get out of the hospital, assuming you're okay to get out of the hospital, the same day of your surgery. Now, through technology, innovation, and some of our other infrastructure, nearly 30% of our daycare cases are going home day of. And what we're hearing, by and large, is that patients love it. Where do they want to be? They want to be in their own homes with their family and friends, navigating their pain journey post-orthopedic surgery, but getting well in the confines of their own home. So that number is going to increase as we bring more technology into NRGH. Recruitment is probably the biggest win from when I stood here last year to standing here now. So I want to share some numbers with you. And I'm not sure if Todd and Jocelyn are in the room. If they are, tip of the cap to you, and I hope to chat to you after this. The Nanaimo infusion has been a massive driver in some of the stats that you see on the screens in front of you. Yeah. So we bring in therapists, we bring in nurse practitioners, we bring in social workers. Just in the last 14 months alone, Island Health has brought in 97 nurses alone into the organization, 31 of which work at NRGH. Okay? 87 more are in the pipeline of having an offer served to them or about to be served to them to say, come and join us. And that is just tied to the infusion that happened in April, the 87 that I'm talking about. Tied to the infusion, tied to the last 14 months of recruitment efforts and the infusion, just to NRGH, there's been 18 US physicians join us. I don't know if these numbers sound phenomenal to you, but they are, right? They are. And this is on top of new graduates that are joining us out of UBC, folks who are joining us from east of the Rockies, folks who are joining us from Australia or Ireland, and so the takeaway is there is a significant shift in the number of bodies who are choosing NRGH and Island Health for their place of work and adventure. On a different note, Island Health has hired 424 new graduate nurses this year. Our average is about 340. And so things are looking pretty good. New grads are wanting to stay with us, whereas in the last few years, they were fleeing is the wrong word. They were leaving. They were leaving for the mainland or Alberta right? So this is an emerging good news story. And just to speak to some specialty areas, because Barney talked about the thematics of the foundation, we've just hired 6 emergency room physicians. We've just hired a gastroenterologist who's joining us in the fall. We've hired a neurologist and another cardiologist, all right? On top of the numbers that I've shared with you. So these are all good news stories. All right. I work clinical operations in a hospital. I don't do construction. Donna's staring me down. Okay, I'm not gonna look back there. April 6th, 2026, the provincial government gave Island Health the formal green light to advance concept planning for the NRGH inpatient tower and cardiac cath lab. Bundled package, okay? June 10th, we got at it. So we just got out of the gate last week around what does this look like? The long and short is it's a 15-month project that we're gonna try and condense into a 12-month project, demonstrate our concept to the provincial government, and then we're gonna go through business case and schematic and tendering and construction. Is that pretty good, Donna? Not bad. Okay, she's nodding. The takeaway is that, and Barney, I feel like you kind of stole my thunder, but it's a good news story. The only hospital in the province to be in this place to advance infrastructure. We're hearing about our provincial budget. We're hearing about long-term care facilities getting the axe, or at least being put on ice for a period of time. Not us. We are forging ahead. And part of that is the Alliance advocacy, the Foundation advocacy, us as a collective in our communities raising our voices and saying we can do better. Last slide. Well, I kind of talked to it. I think I'll leave you with a couple of notes that I was jotting down earlier this morning. Amidst all this good news, I hear at times, and Barney mentioned this a few times to me in the last, 3 months, there's still people in the community and perhaps people in this room that say, I'm not seeing improvement. There's still wait lists. I still have to wait a year for my hip replacement. I still have my family member in a hallway space in the emergency department. This is not better. It's not, in a lot of ways. It can be tough to see that things are improving, but I hope that you see how some of them are starting to improve through robotics, through innovation, technology, projects, i.e. the intensive care unit as one fine example. But the fact that we're building a team of people that are going to help us enter the next frontier of care in our region, we have a lot going for us. And so what we need to acknowledge the wait lists and emergency hallway care and those types of things, we need systems reform. And some of that I talked about. We need long-term care beds. We need community care. We need a new hospital. We need things that we're not necessarily going to achieve in this room, but those are for our provincial and federal partners to assist us with. But what we need to do is identify our priorities, which Barney's laid out for you, and work towards small incremental change. And so until then, we chip away, we continue to recruit people, we identify our top priorities, but more than anything, we paint the vision of what we can do together in the future. And so we continue to advocate together, raise up our voice as citizens in this community, and do something special. And so you mentioned a vibe. Vibe was the word. Vibe and shoes. We've got a vibe going on, and the fact that last year we had 150-ish people in this room, we've got 200 today. The conversations we're happening in our community are real, and I've never experienced them. So I feel the energy inside, the walls of the organization, and that comes from you in our community. So I'll stop there. I'm going to hand it over to Tony, and he'll bring us home. But similar to Rebecca, I will end on a note of thank you and gratitude for being with you here today, but being able to do this work with you for the greater good of our community. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Damien. It's always awesome to hear what you have to say. And as much as I tease you about having cookies every day at 3 o'clock in Barney's office, you're such a valued partner to this community and to the foundation. So thank you so much. Yes? Okay. So this will be our last speaker, and it's very fitting because he's very visionary. He is our board chair. Tony Harris has been instrumental in having a vision for our foundation and hiring Barney and bringing a new strategy to life. And you've seen the results of what that has resulted in because of their great work as partners. So I'd like to bring up Tony Harris, our board chair and champion for healthcare. He's going to share with you a little bit about our new strategic plan and close out the program.
Good afternoon, everybody. I think we can do better than that. Every time I do something like this, I feel like we gotta coach the room. This is a two-way conversation, even though now you can't talk. I'm delighted to be here this afternoon, and I wanted to begin and acknowledge that earlier today we had our annual general meeting, and we had our board meeting, and we received another clean audit and reflected on what has been an extraordinary year for the foundation. So thank you. As the chair of the board, I can tell you that there is a tremendous sense of pride around our table, not because of what the foundation has accomplished alone, but because of what this community has accomplished together. 3 years ago, we launched an ambitious strategic plan. At the time, we believed we could significantly increase the foundation's impact and become a stronger philanthropic partner in healthcare. What happened exceeded all of our expectations. Over the past 3 years, this community didn't just support the foundation's vision, you've embraced it. Donors stepped forward, volunteers stepped forward, corporate partners stepped forward, healthcare professionals stepped forward. Together, we transformed what was possible. Today, as we launch our new strategic plan, we do so from a position of strength, momentum, and optimism. This plan has been 9 months in the making. Our board, staff, stakeholders all spent considerable time examining what worked, what didn't work, and where the greatest opportunities exist for our future. And one conclusion became very clear. We should not abandon what has made us successful. Instead, we should continue doing exactly what works exceptionally well while dedicating a meaningful portion of our energy and resources to new ideas, innovation, and emerging opportunities. We often describe this as the 80-20 approach. 80% focused on continuing to excel at things we know create impact, 20% focused on exploring new ways to improve healthcare in our region. That philosophy is reflected through our new strategic plan. The plan is built around 4 key pillars: people, community engagement, innovation, and partnerships. Those words may sound simple, but together they represent a bold vision for the future. That's an impressively loud ringtone. My mom's did that the other day at my daughter's ballet competition. Man, oh man. But I won't hold it against you. A future where we continue growing a community of donors and volunteers and health professionals. A future where we deepen partnerships across central and northern Vancouver Island communities. A future where the foundation plays a leadership role in healthcare, innovation, recruitment, and housing solutions. A future where we help convene leaders from across our region to advance transformative projects like a new patient tower and a cath lab at the Nanaimo Regional General Hospital. What excites me most about this plan is that it recognizes something important. Healthcare challenges are becoming more complex. The solutions will require more collaboration than ever before. I don't even know. I didn't make these slides, so I'm literally just pressing buttons, and I hope that they're relevant. The foundation, however, is uniquely positioned to help bring people together around these solutions. Not because we have all the answers, but because we have the relationships, the credibility, the community support that is needed to help move important conversations forward. As you leave this evening, copies of the strategic plan will be available for you to take home. I encourage you to read it. More importantly, I encourage you to find your place within it. Continue giving, volunteer your time, share our message, advocate for better healthcare, and help us grow this movement. Because while this strategic plan belongs to the foundation, its success belongs to all of us. On behalf of our board of directors, thank you for your support, your trust, and your belief in what we can all accomplish together. The last 3 years have truly been remarkable. I truly believe that the next 5 years will be even more significant. Thank you very much. And I have one little thing. I just want to, it's tough. There's so many people to acknowledge. So many people do selfless, tireless work for our foundation. But one particular person that I'd just like to single out is a dear friend of mine and a fellow board member and someone that does a lot for our community. In fact, he's dressed casually today, unexpectedly going to be recognized because he's been running around doing a bunch of work for the Tom Harris Community Foundation's annual event that we host next tomorrow, the Tom Harris Charity Classic, where we are going to shoot to raise $1 million again for all kinds of local charities in the region. But this person, Cody Drager, is a board member with me. And over the last couple of years, we've had a couple of different pieces of real estate donated. Cody is a real estate agent, Lazel Drager and Associates, based in Nanaimo. And but Cody, he's selflessly stood up, said, "I'll sell these assets and not take any commission." And so he's foregone, tens of thousands of dollars worth of commissions that he had every right to earn, and we would have otherwise paid someone else to do that work. So we enjoyed the benefit of his quality work and also not having to pay the commission. And recently we had this estate that Barney talked about earlier that was donated, the Harris estate, not related. That would have been weird if someone donated $2.5 million that was related to me and we didn't know about it. But Cody sold the house, and when they were going through the house, there was this safe, and in the safe they found all kinds of really cool memorabilia. And Cody called me, and he's like, "This is so cool. There's all these different things, and there's this coin in particular that's like 100-year-old gold coin, and it's just the coolest thing." And Cody just loves memorabilia, and he's a real geek for it, and I love him for that. So anyways, we told him a couple weeks ago that I think we'd sold it. I can't remember. But what Barney and I actually decided is that we would like to give it to Cody, just as a token of our appreciation. So here's this really cool gold coin. But for forgoing all of your commissions, this isn't anywhere near what that would have been, but it's valuable, and I know you know that. But more importantly, it's a symbol of our appreciation for you, not to diminish our appreciation for anybody else. But Cody, please come on up and accept this on behalf of our foundation. So I think next, back over to you. We're going to do some cool pin ceremonies. Yeah, all right.
Stay up here, Tony. Thank you so much. I'm going to ask Barney to come up, please. And we're going to do our tradition of recognizing the amazing tenure of some of the giving in this room. And so we're going to start with 10 years. What I'll do is I'll ask, just for sake of time, that I'm going to call out all the names. If you could come up, and then we applaud and take the photo, and then we can get through in a timely fashion. So for the 10-year recognition, I'd like to ask Hazel Brackenberry, Cody Dreger, Robert and Denise Mary Gervais, Lynn Knill, or Knill maybe, Patrick and Alita Sally, to please come up and join Barney and Tony.
All right.
Here you go.
There you go.
You're right there? Okay. There you go. 10-year pin. Thank you so much. Where do you want to be? In front or?
Sure. Oh, you lost it. Oh, okay, we screwed up. Look, these guys already got their 15-year pins, though. Oh, our database is working really well.
Yeah.
Super well.
We need robots.
Excellent. Yeah, we need robots. Okay, we'll put these ones back. All right, 15. Okay. Yeah, we were going to take a picture.
Okay, so our 15-year recognition is for Les Dickinson, Lloyd and Shirley Dusher, and David Houghton.
Here we go.
Come on up.
Come on down.
Come on up.
Here we go. All right. All right. Thank you. Thank you. Excellent. Well, I'll give you two. See, there we go. Every 15 years.
I think we should go down.
Yeah, why don't we come down?
I think we should go down.
Here we go.
Safer.
All right.
Thank you.
And 20.
So thank you. Our last recognition is for 20 years. We have Esther and George Chisholm, Earl and Bev Johnson, and Doris Lawrence. If you could come on up.
Maybe stay up for a second.
Yeah.
Oh, get her to stay.
Folks, come over here and get out of the sun. Glare over here, maybe. There we go. We'll do what she tells us. We're hurting cats here. Hurting cats. I like the face otherwise. There we go. Awesome. Thank you.
Amazing. Thank you so much, everyone. There are refreshments in the reception area at this point. Again, we want to just take time to enjoy and have some camaraderie and just recognize each other and the impact that you're having on Central Vancouver Island Healthcare. Thank you so much for everything you do, and stay in touch. We look forward to talking to each of you soon. Thank you, everyone.